Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Alec Steele Live Show, Season 2, Episode 2. On today's episode, we're going to be making a cross-peen hammer. I've got a 2-inch round piece of 4140 steel in the fire. I wish it was 1045, it'd be a little bit easier to work, but that's okay. Well, and the reason I'm interested in it being easier to work is though it's round right now and we will take it to the Chambersburg to forge it into a square billet, we'll then try and see if we can do most of the rest of it with just a hand hammer. That's always a fun thing to do. So thank you all so much for joining us. It is very exciting to see the comments all rolling in. I must apologize for being late. We had some technical issues. It's been a while since we've done this. We've forgotten a whole lot about how to do these live streams. So we had some little glitches, we sorted it out. Here we are, albeit late. The steel is hot. I'm thrilled you're all here. The power hammer is not hot. So it needs to warm up for a second or two, and then we're gonna forge this billet to square on it. So grab your hearing protection, ladies and gentlemen, because that power hammer is very loud. Very, very loud. We've got a new episode of the normal videos that's going to be released very, very soon, where I don't know if you can see it, but I do a little bit of painting on the treadle. So get ready for that. You know what? We're just going to go right for it now. If I can find my gloves. I've lost my gloves. Poor preparation equals poor performance. So, I found my gloves, and we're going to do some power hammer forging. This is 2-inch round, 3 inches long. It's going to make about a 2.5-pound hammer. Here we go. So I first squared it up. I now need to upset it and make it shorter and fatter. Re-square it. Okay, now onto the diagonals. Let's have a look at it. Let's see, does it look like a rhombus? Does it look good? It looks okay. I'm quite happy with that. One more hit on this diagonal. Jolly good. So, taking the floppy end of my glove. I use that to clean off the die. I'm not super duper thrilled about letting the dies close with a whole bunch of scale on there because the scale's quite hard. And especially on this machine, we know the dies are actually quite soft. So, what I'm now going to do is I'm going to take a pair of beta calipers. I keep these calipers in very terrible condition. It's a cheap set of, just vernier gauges, vernier calipers. I'm going to have a look at where halfway is, but I'm not going to go halfway. And the way I'm going to do this is take the caliper, hold it at the same setting, and then scribe 2 lines. Do the same top and bottom. It's extremely rough. The tolerance on this is very, very low. Doesn't need to be super high for what we're doing right now, and I'm going to be more likely to make a mistake anyway as I'm punching. I then scribe widthwise. You don't want to do this with a fresh set of Starrett calipers. You're going to not have a great time. That's why I use a beta caliper. Okey-doke. So we want to make a mark as to where we're going to punch the hole on this. I'd rather have a center punch, but I didn't prepare one. I'm going to bias my mark about 1/4 inch off to one end. I don't know if that's right or not. It's been an extraordinarily long time been an extraordinarily long time since I've done this, because I've made a hammer with a hand hammer. And so I will try my best, but I cannot guarantee that I'm going to be giving the perfect advice here, because I'm in a lot of practice. You know how it is. You lose your intuition, your gut sense of how to do things the less you do it. Oh, and see, I've just done a terrible job here. That is just ghastly. I have about 5 different center punch marks from my punch, which is no good, but we know that we have a pretty rough indication of where the middle is, this way and that way, this way and that way, and where we want the hole lengthwise. So now, it's back in the fire with that piece of steel. We want that thing to get really, really toasty for us to punch it. Woo! Okie dokie. It's good to see everybody here. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much for being here. So, obviously, the big piece of steel that is going to be this hammer is going to take a while to heat up. So I'll put another little small piece of steel in the fire so we can hopefully keep doing something a little bit while we wait for that steel to heat. This is a piece of 3/8 of an inch round. I'm going to reposition this camera, and I'm going to tell you what that is for. That piece of steel is for us to make a wedge. Now, I'm actually not going to be making a wedge for the hammer that we're working on right now. I'm making this wedge for another hammer, for my 3.5 pound hammer, because it's starting to come a little bit loose. Okie dokie. Let me get that framed for you all. Not quite straight. Boom, we got it. So, this is the 4.5 pound hammer. This here is a 3.5 pound hammer. And when deciding on, well, after a whole lot of time using hammers and making hammers and having made a lot of them and used a lot of them, kind of get a little bit of a feel for what you like from as much data as you can gather from using the tools you make, from hearing how people like them. And it kind of ended up being that what I decided to do with hammers is just put in a wooden wedge. So you see in all the hammers that we sell now, there's no steel wedge in it. We don't put a steel round wedge in there. We don't put a steel flat wedge. We just do the wood wedge. And the reason I kind of chose to do that is because, and it became especially evident when I moved from England, where I was by the sea, to here in Montana at 4,000 feet of elevation, where it is dry as a desert. It became especially evident then because all of my tools that I brought with me rattled and the heads were loose. They were all loose. And that was a shock, and it was also extremely worrying. It was a shock because, you think you dry out the wood on your handles really well, and then you send it to somewhere really dry where the humidity affects it, and then lo and behold, you have a loose head. What can you do to it if you've already got a steel wedge in it? It's a little bit limited. But by making sure that we get as tight of a fit as possible with a wooden wedge, it means that when you have an issue like has developed here, which you're dealing with a natural material, this is wood, this is steel. Wood changes its size in different humidities. And so this head right here has started to get loose on that. And I treat the handles very carefully. I don't want to go, hammering on them unnecessarily. I don't like just, standing around bouncing them on the end here, because every time you do this, you're forcing the head down the shaft just a little bit, and you're creating a little bit of space. And so if you do kind of hang around and just kind of bouncing your hammer on its handle here, you're going to invariably start forcing that head down, and meaning that there is a little bit more space for that head to rattle back the other way when it invariably comes loose. So I only do this when I'm ready to install a new wedge. We've got a wood wedge in there. We're going to make a steel wedge to put in there and tighten it up. And that's the little contingency that we create in how we make our hammers. So there's always the opportunity to make up a steel wedge real fast, and it goes like this. Of course, it goes without saying, where I learned to make a wedge like this? From Brown Brazil himself. So it's basically a little flat-headed taper, or flattened four-sided taper. I then like to go to the hot cut hardy, give it a few little nicks, something that the wood can kind of swell itself into a little bit, go all the way around, Da-da-da-da-da-da. And then we'll go ahead and cut it off. Our steel with the hammer is almost hot, so it's almost punching time with the crosspeen. I'll get it close, then so I don't have to fiddle around picking it up with a pair of tongs. We'll cool it off. And then break it and drop it on the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Alec Steele Show, which means the drinking game is here in full force. And so grab your orange juice or your water. Dribble it all over yourself. And drink. Because I just dropped my first thing of the show. Okay, where is it? Here we go. So we'll take that. Okay, we'll take a pause on the wedge to punch a hole. Here's our punch. Here are our sliced peaches. I will put those right there. Gotta have sliced peaches. And I'm gonna grab a pallet for me to stand on, because at 4'6", that anvil is a ways away up there. Jolly good. Let's do this. Okie dokie. Find the side that has the center punch marks in it. There we go. And then I'm going to start off nice and gentle. I'm not trying to go too crazy off the bat. And then I'm looking at it after every blow, taking the punch out of there with every blow, trying to decide, am I doing the right thing or am I doing the wrong thing? I'm having a look at it. I'm observing. Is it in the middle? Is it not? It doesn't quite look in the middle. And so I'm going to put it on the stepper anvil there, adjust the angle of my punch. I'm also regretting not having hearing protection on, because that's very loud. Okay. Oh yes, well spotted. Drink, everybody. I dropped it. I'll cool my tool in the peach juice. Got that set up and ready to go. I think next heat we're going to be able to make some good progress punching that hole. Back in the fire we go. Pardon me? I would love to answer some questions, and I think we got good time for it. Oh goodness, the super chats are rolling in. Thank you very much, Jeremy Douce Bergeron, for the $100. I really appreciate that. Very nice. He just says, what's up? And I say, what's up to you, Jeremy? How's it going? Okie dokie. Thomas Gray asks a great question. He asks, should I build my first forge or should I buy it? And is it worth going on a couple blacksmithing training days before I start myself? 100% yes. Going to some blacksmithing training days is an incredible way to drastically shorten your learning curve and also find out if this is a craft that would suit you as a hobby. That's a great idea. Take some blacksmithing training days. If you want to find who does blacksmithing classes around you, it's very simple. Type in blacksmithing classes and then start with a very local area. Say you live in Chicago, you would say blacksmithing classes, Chicago. And then if that didn't work, you might say blacksmithing classes, Wyoming, because Chicago is in Wyoming. And if that didn't work, you would say blacksmithing classes in the southeast, because Wyoming is in the southeast of the United States. And then you'd progressively find the nearest place that offered blacksmithing classes, and you'd look at their calendar and see if that would suit you. So, phenomenal question. And then in regards to building or buying your first forge, that's a very tough one. It's a tough one because a lot of the forges that you buy on the market still have the exposed ceramic wool, which I don't feel like is super appropriate for the first gas forge. Or for a gas forge, you want to line it with something. So when you buy a forge, you should still get some refractory and coat it. And I really want to put some more information together on that for you folks, so it is easier to get into the craft. And considering that question exists, it shows we should put more information on it. And maybe we should do that, just that. Maybe we should buy a forge and do a video on coating it so we can help make that process as easy as possible for everybody. If you have fabrication equipment and skills, building it is a great option. You can make it exactly how you want, but of course, it can be difficult. Typically, it's very easy to overbuild a forge, build it too large at the beginning, because you feel like you want a bigger forge that has more capacity, whereas you'll never really use quite as much as you typically think you need. And you can survive with a whole lot less. That was incredible. That was just a spectacle. Oh, okie dokie. So, if you have a tin of peach juice, open it and pay homage to the tin of sweet nature's goodness that we just dropped on the ground. Oh no. Okay, it wasn't peach juice. What it was is it was lube. First time I've used it, and I have to say, it worked quite well. I'm gonna go and fill it up again. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm over on the other side of the workshop, taking a bottle of Fuchs 4Gs 3512 Lubrictec Ferrous Forging Lubricant. It is concentrate. It is a water dilutable forging lube, punching holes and drifting holes, coating your tools. Okie dokie. I'm gonna find a more sensible place to put our tin of lube. Let's see if we can make a better plan for this. This seems like a bad place right there. It's a very bad place, but you know what? We've got to support orange farmers around the world by making sure that people have plenty of orange juice to drink, because I drop a whole lot of things. So there we go. Thank you, Thomas. I don't have a final answer on making or building your own forge. Whatever's going to suit you, the equipment you have, the skills you have, and whether you want the fun process of building a forge or whether you want to get right into it and see if you like it. But definitely take a class first if you're able to. On to the next one. Computer Play Z. Very pleased that you started making some stuff. Very pleased we got you off your rear end for you to start making some things, and you're having a blast. That makes me very happy. Big thank you is on for Stormbray. Very pleased that you enjoy the channel. That makes us very happy. Thank you for your service. And then last super chat right now. Jeremy, thank you again. He's a Quebecois TIG welder. He's still working. Have a nice day. I will have a nice day. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okie dokie. So, steel is hot again. Let's get ready and spill some more lube and try and punch this hole. The punch is now deep enough that it's starting to be really nice and easy to get some good power going through, because I have to be less cautious about making sure it goes straight down. I can kind of let loose a little bit, you know what I mean? I'm able to use the hammer and the punch to spin it around a little bit and make our way down and make some good progress. I'm gonna spill this. Oh, almost dropped the hammer. I'm gonna spill this tin in no time. All right, back in the fire. So there is an awesome video on YouTube of Brent Bailey making a cross-peen hammer. And he does the thing in like 3 total heats. It's insane. It's well worth checking out if you want to see somebody swing a hammer really hard and really well. He makes a beautiful hammer in no time. We're not going to be able to compete with that. But I'm going to try and make sure that I put this tin of lube in a little bit of a safer spot. There we go, look at that. All it took was just opening the vice jaws. Safe, right? Yes. Yep, getting a little hot. Okay. Oh, it's also nice and overcast, so it's not overexposing it too much. You know, it'd be quite simple. I could get some diffuser cloth next time we do a live show, and I could just pin some diffuser cloth on the bottom of the forge, and then open it up way more. Would it be bad if I opened it even a little more? That's fine? Perfect. It's super dark. It's raining. It's about to rain, at least. If it's not. No, it is raining. Okie dokie. Exactly. It's just like England. Oh, was it peach juice or not? No. It's forging lube in a tin of peach juice, in a tin of peaches. Yellow cling sliced peaches in extra light syrup. Highlight. I mean, it's a very good product, very tasty, but the forge lube is what's inside it, so don't think you can use peach juice as forging lubricant. You have to use forging lube as forging lubricant. Okie dokie, so still got a few seconds before that's all the way up to temperature, so we're going to circle back onto our 3.5 pound hammer. So I'm going to set that right there, and I'm going to run and grab a small ended punch so that we can drive the wedge in nice and deep. Okie dokie. I think this should do. So we had our wedge. Are you able to see that nicely? We'll just get it started so you can get an idea of what's going on. Then trying to get it going nice and straight. Whoa, drink. We'll drop it down there. It's kind of a little bit of a challenge to do it one-handed, but oh, nah, I'll be okay. Thank you, though. I'll hold on to a punch, and I'm going to come around to this side of the anvil. There we go. Take the punch and drive it on in and give a little second wind to this piece of hickory in this handle. I should tighten it up nicely. We've driven it down first. Then we throw the wedge in there to spread it out open some more, and I'll report back on how that lasts. Jolly good. We got some hot steel. I'll put my hearing protection on again. I would also like to report this is still the hot glued down anvil. And the Band-Aid. Incredibly, it's still there, which just blows my mind. So, we're almost at the point of flipping this around, or upside down rather. This lubricant is really good. At this point, you're usually having to tap the hammer off of there, but it's lubricating the punch very nicely. It's got an interesting smell to it. It almost has a tinge of like a gunpowdery smell. It's quite nice. It's probably not healthy. You probably shouldn't be inhaling it that much. I wish I could kind of step out of the way. I'm right above it, so there's only so much I can do. You find the smell quite intense? Okie doke. So we made a mark before we started punching, so I can still use that as my reference. But I generally never like to trust anything. I like to be very doubting of where these holes are, because stuff can move around. If you punch at a slightly weird angle, you can change what the bottom flat surface looks like, and it can kind of rhombus a little bit and really throw you for a loop. Little bits of scale can give you illusions of evenness and squareness that then, once popped, do much the same to your bubble and leave you with regret and sadness. Punching holes is quite an emotional thing. And you'll see when we finally punch a plug, tears of joy will weep down my face as we will have done it. Quite exciting. Quite exciting. Anyway, I'm trying to be a little bit careful here. I'm cooling my tool quite a lot. The tool, having been punched down from the other side, has had the opportunity to generate a whole lot of heat in the body of it. And though I'm cooling the tip, it's going to be pretty easy to heat that tool back up. And because we're punching on this new side, this other side, this fresh side, where there isn't a hole supporting the rest of the tool and saving it from bending, because we're doing that, one. Two, because it's actually quite cold, it's a really easy time to bend a punch. So it'd be nice to avoid that. Very good. So I'm going to get to some more of your super chats. And get ready, everybody, because you'll have remembered at the end of the live stream, we announced that we would be giving away the tongs that we made. We made these. It's a 1/4-inch square holding pair of tongs. Made them out of some 5/8 round bar. It was a great time. And stay tuned, because a little later in the stream, we're going to announce the winner. We told our young viewers who are interested in blacksmithing and bladesmithing to take to Instagram and use the hashtag Alec Steele Live and tag us. And then we'd kind of pick somebody that we thought was doing cool stuff and was making great progress as a young in this craft. And we have picked somebody, so get ready, stay tuned. And in a similar fashion, at the end of this stream, we'll be announcing how to get yourself an opportunity to win this hammer too. Because, you know, we might as well start a little bit of a tradition. I don't know if it's always going to go on like this with the live shows that we do. Because maybe one day we make something out of gold and then it's a little more of a tricky thing to give away. But for now, we're going to give this hammer away too. And stay tuned to find out more about that as I formulate the plan in my head over the duration of this stream. You don't think I'm that organized, do you, that I'd come here with a plan already? Ha ha! You know, because we're punching that all the way down to that low temperature, it has cooled down a little bit, and it's going to take a little extra to heat back up. But I've been spoiled by the lovely real Mrs. Steele, who is over there, smiling and looking wonderful. And I've been spoiled with this incredible smoothie, which I'm going to drink and enjoy while I look at your super chats and see what you lovely people have to say. Okie dokie. Okie dokie. Mr. Soma, thank you for the $10. Thank you for the $10. I appreciate it. I'm very thrilled you got the blacksmithing bug from our videos. That makes me happy. Jeremy Bergeron says he forgot to say hi to the miss. So hi. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you. I appreciate all the lovely messages and the donations. That means a lot. James Simmons says, shout out to my brother, Stefan. I'm sorry that I couldn't pronounce that right off the bat. That makes no sense. Of course I could pronounce Stefan. Shout out to Stefan Simmons. Thank you, James. I appreciate that. Gavin Caldwell. Do you ever get to the point in your craft where you just don't want to do it anymore? If so, how do you get around it and push through? You see, the thing is, I'm a robot, and so I don't experience normal human emotions, such as tiredness and burnout, because I'm exactly the exuberant cat that you see here all the time, every day, no matter what. That is a lie. I'm human, and interestingly enough, I've actually felt pretty burnt out lately, and it's been one of the motivations for doing the live show as a way to, give myself a goal and an objective that I could push on towards, put some energy into it, and do some back to the basics, hand forging, speaking to this incredible audience that we have, and communicating with you and building these relationships, and doing that to help kind of hopefully perk myself up a little bit. And when we did that last live show on Sunday, that felt really good. So I'm right now in a little bit of that burnout stage where I've been feeling more down, a little less excitement about my craft, and I don't have phenomenal tips about what to do with it. I am just a wee whippersnapper after all. But I have found that the goal of doing a live show and giving myself an objective to kind of, work towards and do, so far, right now, in my current state, has been quite nice and quite rewarding. So maybe that can help, having a little bit of a goal to work towards, something where you have to do something. But also, taking a little bit of downtime is important. Taking it easier, resting, you know, making sure you're recovering enough. But I'm no expert. And the trouble with answering such a question is I could easily make it seem as if I knew what I was talking about. I don't really. I just like hitting things with hammers with, you know, moderate amounts of force. And then talking to cameras. That's quite fun too. Okie doke. The tears of joy have dried in this heat of the forge, but I assure you, internally they're all there. That is a plug, and that is a punched hole, ladies and gentlemen. We've done diddly done it. We've punched that hole. And you know what we'll make sure we do? We'll make sure we give away the plug as well. We'll make sure we give away the plug as well. So we've punched the hole, which is lovely. So we could easily just go right to the drift and start drifting. I don't want to do that because this drift is a rather long taper. This punch is a rather short and stubby taper. This drift is long, which means that for me to hit it, I have to be way up here, which is going to reduce the amount of gravity that I can use to accelerate the hammer and mean that I'm a little more cramped up. So while I have the most eye-opening to do, I'm going to do it with the punch before we finalize the shape of the eye with the drift. So the punch is not yet done. Oh my goodness, Daniel Draper, thank you very much. His first baby is due May the 5th. Her name is going to be Savannah Ann. Can she get a hello? Savannah Ann Draper, hello. Welcome to this fine world. Welcome to this fine world. This fine world is very happy to have you. Thank you, Daniel. I really appreciate that. Visit the National Ornamental Metal Museum in Memphis. I've heard great things about that museum. It sounds like a really, really cool place. Thank you, Joel. I really appreciate it. Thomas Evans asks, will we get to meet your lovely wife on video? Thank you for all the content you put out. Well, despite the fact that the business side, and I explained this in the live show, last live show, I'll explain it again, despite the fact that, you know, the business side of me is quite public and a whole lot of people see it, the private side of both me and my wife is a little bit less public, a little less excited to have everything kind of on show to the whole world. So we enjoy having a little extra slice of privacy and being able to have, you know, some private things remain a little more private. You know, it's, I got to make the decision with my business to be a public person, and I don't want to go forcing that on the other people in my life, because I don't think that's particularly fair, because there are some good things that come with being a public person. There are some bad things, and for now, we're a little more interested in being a little extra private. And I know a whole lot of you appreciate and respect that, and that means a lot. Okay. Let's open this thing. Now, because the tip of the punch isn't having any resistance, I'm just going to hit it 3 times. I don't really... Oh! I spilt some lube, not all of it. I think you can drink. I mean, we're not going to limit the amount that you can consume orange juice. But yeah, because the tip of the punch isn't receiving any resistance, I feel quite happy to hit it more than once in the material. What you saw me do there, it was stuck. I turned it up on end and hit it with the hammer. That was able to shock it enough and change the way the eye was gripping the punch, so much so that the punch came free. Flipping it back over, and again, 1, 2, 3. Once we get close, da-da-da-da, we'll be able to put it back in the fire and take another heat. Yeah, it's sticking. It's sticking a little bit, as I don't think I've got the lube all the way up there on the shaft of this tool. And it's getting quite cold, so it's having a little more sticktivity to it. We'll do one more set of 3 blows. You know what? It's stuck, I don't want to fight with it. 2 blows will have to do. This punch is now ready to be put to the side. But I don't want to put it to the side just right now because the shaft is all burning and nasty. I'm just going to cool the back end of the punch to just take some of the heat out of it. Okie dokie. That can go down there. And then this will go back in the fire. And we've now got to work out our next plan, which is probably going to involve a little bit of drifting and a little bit of peen forging. Okie dokes. More of your questions to read and answer. I'm going to put the tin of peach juice away, which isn't peach juice if you've been not watching that long. It is forging lube. I'm going to take some more of this delicious smoothie. It's boiling here, firstly. Heat of the forge, it's quite something. Fortunately, it's cooled down a little bit outside, so I think it's going to help us in the long run. Okie dokie. Patrick, thank you very much. I'm so pleased you enjoy what we're doing. I'm pleased our videos are able to help you relax. That makes me happy. Okie dokie. I Post Swords has an antique dagger coming soon from the the late 1400s and early 1500s. Would I be interested in photos and measurements when it arrives? I think that'd be cool. I'd love to see that. Da 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 da. Justin, where do you get your pants? They seem super durable. Well, great question, Justin. Just stay tuned. You might have to go pantsless for a little while yet, but we might have a solution for you for a good pair of durable and comfortable pants. Get ready. Scott Hake. Wow! Scott Hake made a chainmail shirt and it took him a year. That is incredible. Well done. Well done for the commitment. Congratulations on finishing that really soon, Scott. I really appreciate the support. Ryan B says, for the 4th of July, can you make a Marine Corps officer saber? We made a very similar saber, which was the cavalry saber. So I don't know if you've checked that out, but have a look at it. Kind of, from what I can understand, is quite a similar tool. Hello, Dan Boy. How are you? Alrighty. I think it's time to drift a hole. I think that's the most satisfying way to put on hearing protection. It's a little bit painful, but it's quite fun. I don't know why. That doesn't make any sense at all. Okay. Back to work. Because the tapers of a punch and a drift are so different, especially the first time that you insert the drift, you really don't get a whole lot of progress because you're having to move the material that's in the middle of the billet first. I'm really trying to take this nice and easy. I don't want to stress myself out and make this unenjoyable. So I'm being nice and relaxed as I'm hammering, and I'm now going to start forging the cheeks with the hammer. Because that drift is heating up and we're hammering on it, I'm going to re-hammer it so we can move it up onto a cold part of the drift. Because the more it heats, the more malleable the drift gets, of course, and then the greater chance of damaging your drift from pinching this hot steel between your hammer and it. We're going to release it from the drift. Oh, that's a burn. It's incredible how a piece of scale can somehow end up between your finger and the hammer handle. If you want to know what's less exciting about blacksmithing, is precisely how often something as seemingly impossible happens. How could a bit of scale... Can you see that little black bit on my finger there? Right there? It's very insignificant. I mean, I'm fine. I promise, I'm fine, I'm a big boy. It's fine, it's nothing. But it's incredible how did that scale get there? I'm hammering like this, and it somehow ends up in here. How's that possible? No idea. But if you're interested in blacksmithing, remember, you will get burnt. But that's okay, because the more that you do it, your skin does, toughen up a little bit. You get some calluses, and then it becomes a little bit less of an issue. You also learn how to not get burnt. This type of thing is an inevitability, but like picking up hot things, you learn how to not do that the more you do it. So, if you're getting burnt a lot, don't do that, but you will get better the more you learn how to assess things in the workshop. Jolly good. Jolly good. What fun. Making a hammer. That's lovely. Tony S., thank you so much for the $10. I appreciate it. I am thrilled that our craft helped lead him to leave traditional college and enroll in a welding institute, and he's now a certified welder. He sold his first 2 knives today. Incredible. Well done, Tony. I'm pleased that you're able to find a direction that you enjoy. That makes me very, very happy. Well done, Tony. Remy Chevalier, thank you very much for the money. I appreciate that. Thoughts on forging a set of Damascus gaming dice? That sounds like a fun time. Oh my goodness gracious me. That is a hell of a number. 10,000 from Comhun. Says, hello, Alec, and forward my greetings to Will. I will forward your greetings to Will. Thank you for the money. I wish I knew what currency that was, but I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. If anybody knows what HUF is, let me know. I'd love to know. Okie dokie, folks. Hot steel. Got a cool drift. I'm gonna take some hearing protection, because I'm already deaf as it is. No, I'm definitely not deaf. That's an exaggeration. Pointless exaggeration, I apologize. You know what? I'm going to better plan my strategy for the heat. Because if I do that, I'm going to damage the forging on the forging of the eye and the cheeks I've already done. We'll end up flattening it down, so I want to not do that. So, I'm going to grab some bits and bobs to help me avoid damaging it. So bear with me for just a second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm over at the end of the workshop, looking for bits and bobs to use. Okay, there's one bit. How about a bob? Is there a bob? Can anybody find me a bob? That's rather close. Okie dokie, we'll use this. Hello. Bobby Duke. Hello, Bobby. How are you? I'm very pleased to have you here. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe. I hope your family's well. Thank you for letting me know he was here. That makes me happy. Diego Mossberger says, hi, Alec from Switzerland. I want to give you something back. You give me so much happiness with your videos. That makes me happy. I'm always super excited when a new video comes out. Thank you very much. Thank you, Diego. That means a ton. Thank you, Ryan. Ba-ba-da-ba. Hello from South Africa, says Ryan. Appreciate that, man. Okie doke. So I set those pieces up so the eye can hang on through. And here we go. I took the wrong hammer. Let's have a look, see if it's straight, see if it's square, see if it's looking good. Very good. Okay, we filled the eye pretty well. I did take the wrong hammer, so I'll get rid of that. I'm going to leave those 2 pieces there, and I'm actually going to brush it because it looks nasty. Scale is piling up. Took the wrong hammer again. That's okay. Gonna drive the drift again. Whoa, almost fell off the pallet. Keeps slipping off the drift. Okie doke. We call that good for this heat. The next thing that I want to do is check the drift is straight, which it isn't. Cool the drift. And next heat is about forging the peen, because we're going to be making a cross peen hammer. I get rid of that pallet. for now. Are you able to see my treadle paint job from that camera? Oh. It's a shame. They're just going to have to watch the next video, which is going to publish just in a little while after we finish this live stream. I need to make a thumbnail for it, and I can't find the title to use. The next video is kind of random. The title should be what? Yeah, just Yogo is in this video. Click it and watch it because Yogo's in it. Yeah, I can't find the... Basically, in the video, I mess around with the forge. I try and put a new blower on it. No spoilers are needed. You know how things go around here. Tried to put a new blower on it, then it goes, can't spoil it, sorry. It went real great. You'll have to watch. Then I put hearing protection on Yogo and started getting her used to hearing protection. And then I did something to the power hammer treadle. I modified it and gave it a sick paint job, if you ask me. Before then making a whole load of power hammer tooling, and it's basically just a bunch of forging goodness, steel squishing awesomeness. And so, still trying to pick a title for it. Forge blower, Yogo, and power hammering things. Doesn't feel like it has the makings of a successful YouTube video. So, we'll see. Secret. Very pleased. Zachary has been started smithing this year, and he's been making leaves, and they are improving. Makes me very happy. Congratulations, Zachary, on your new craft. Very, very good. Hello, friends. I'm a cutler from Brazil, and I also give some tips on YouTube. Look for Oficinado. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you again, Remy. Ah, very pleased. Thank you, Alexander Drew, for the little bit of money. I'm very pleased. What's the worst injury I've ever received in the workshop? Not too bad. I once had a top hot cut, which essentially looks like a little axe fly across the workshop. It had been hit with a sledgehammer by a friend of mine, and it hit my finger, and it kind of hurt. Cut it open, and that was probably about the worst injury I've sustained in the workshop. Fortunately, touch wood. I don't want any injuries. They're not fun. Okie doke. Let's forge a peen. Quite a lot of material to move around with a hand hammer. Again, I highly recommend Brent Bailey's video. He just does an incredible job. He takes his tongs like this. I'll give this a go. And he forges on it like that. Gets a good bit of power in it. And turn this up. And what happens when you forge on a large piece of material without enough power is you get a fish mouthing develop. So I want to get rid of that. And I'm going to do it at this heat right here. We're not particularly rushed by time. I'm going to lightly tap that in, not enough to damage the cheeks. Hold it in the drift. And I'm now going to hammer on these little fish lips. Get rid of those. Jolly good. Okie doke. Back in the fire we go. Thank you, Sword or Sorcery. Thank you, Vlado or Ravek. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Max Bain. I really appreciate it. Oh, jolly good. It is getting toasty. I'm going to have to apologize for being a little quiet here as I drink some water and enjoy this sweltering Floridian heat. So I think we're going to take one more heat before we announce the winner of the tongs. Sorry? We're almost an hour in. Wow. How time flies when you're out of practice. Okie dokie. Let's try something like this, see how we like it. Yeah, I can see that. I'm going to check the sides back again. Make sure it's pretty square. Amazingly it is. I'm going to hit the diagonals a little bit. See if we can clean those up. Whoa! There we go. And then just like the end of the last heat, we'll take the drift. If we want to be extra careful to not damage the cheeks, I can do that. And we're going to hammer on those fish lips. The less we have fish lips, the less we have to grind off, which, you know, with a Gibson 72 grinder in the grinding room wouldn't be that much of an issue. Less grinding is always better. Less grinding is always better. It's nice to avoid it when you can. On to the next heat. I should only think it'll be a few more heats before that peen is entirely forged out to the thickness that we want, which is yet undetermined. And then it's just going to be on to final finishing touches of the whole piece. So, the winner, who did indeed use the hashtag Alec Steele Live in some posts this week, is a 13-year-old blacksmith. Which is incredible, because 13 years old, very young, and I can relate to being a blacksmith and starting this craft at a very young age, and I think it's really incredible what he's already been able to make. The winner of these tongs is Z_the_blacksmith. If I remember that right, 13-year-old blacksmith. Have a look at some of the cool stuff that he makes already. He's clearly very dedicated, clearly very ambitious to make a lot more cool things in the future and increase his skill and knowledge, and I find that very, very inspiring. That makes me happy. So that was the wrong pair of tongs. We're going to send these tongs his way very soon. So I'll make sure to get in touch with you so you can give us your address and get these tongs on your way. That's awesome. That makes me happy. I think you'll enjoy these. It's a nice pair of tongs, nice and light, and we'll be giving away this hammer too. Find a cool way to do that. Okie doke. And we'll be giving away this hammer complete as well. We'll finish it off. We'll make sure it's fully finished off. I don't have an even heat. I'm going to put it back in the fire. I don't want to do that. Two sides of the peen were different temperatures, so that's no fun. Let it heat up again. Shouldn't take just a second. Oh, a piece of hot scale fell down my glove. That's just so unpleasant. I know I don't have the drift in there, but we're getting enough of a fish mouth. I want to deal with it before it's too far gone, this heat. There we go, some good progress. So we're now at about an inch in width on the peen. Almost there. Almost there, almost there. Good. Okie doke. Let's read some more of your comments, guys. Tom asks about some scrap Damascus. I don't know if we've got a good piece of 30mm round right now, and we're not selling it in Damascus right now. We do have a bigger power hammer, though. So maybe there might be the occasional billet in the future. I don't know. I don't know if that's cost-effective as an idea, but maybe in the future we'd be able to make that happen. I'd really like that. You know, dreams are one thing, however. You know, how they stack up against reality and whether it's an appropriate thing for us to make Damascus is a different story. Thank you very much, Ari from South Africa. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. Oh. Okie dokie. So at this point, we're really about to get an unmanageable amount of fish mouthing. I'm still not 100% on if I'm finding that to be a problem or not. But I'm going to put the drift back in. See if we can do anything to refine it some. Because not only is more fish mouthing going to cause more grinding, it's also going to cause more forging, because the more I fish mouth, the further down I've got to forge it to mean that it's as thin as I want it as the end product. Wow. I have not done a whole lot of hand hammer work lately. Yeah, I need to drink some more water, because this is a workout. My muscles are not ready for this. Apparently it's time to change the batteries in my lavalier. Is there some issues happening with the audio? No? Is it loud enough? Thank you, Bradley McDevitt. If you let us know what you're hearing, I'd love to hear what's going on with the lav mic. You can hear it rattling over here as I'm doing this. Okay. Justice Johnson, are all the live shows going to be blacksmithing, or are there going to be some that are going to be different types of work, such as grinding or working on the power hammer? At the beginning of this live show, we did a little bit of power hammer work. Will we do some grinding in the future? Perhaps. Maybe. This is better than better than grinding for interacting with you guys, because I get to, stop at each heat and have a chat and rest. Whereas grinding, you've got the whole, kit and caboodle on, and you've got the woo noise of the fancy thing. You can't hear it too well. You're not hearing any cutouts of audio. Interesting. It might be the stream that's cutting out audio. I apologize if you're having audio issues, guys. If you're watching this in the past, on the final upload, let us know if you're having these issues. I'd love to hear that in the comments. Oh no, Connor. I think the old description might still be playing because If you're not able to make the PVC patch discount work, that was for the last live stream, so maybe you're having our old... I'm sorry about that. This is the technical issues we had at the beginning of this, where it wasn't properly updating things. So if you're trying... Yeah, it's still saying Season 2, Episode 1 on the thing. I apologize. If you've been trying to buy something and the PVC patch thing isn't working, I'll make it up to you. At the end of this live stream, I'm going to flip that back over so we give you something else, because I think we might be sold out of PVC patches too as well. So I'll do some sort of discount. And follow me on Instagram, and I'll post a story about the discount at the end of the stream. Oh. Oh, no, it's fine. You just changed? Okay. Thank you. Oh, I can't find the live comments. There we go. Got the live comments back. Okay, let's do some more forging. I'm here yakking instead of whacking. That's why you wear eye protection. See that piece of scale fly up? That's scary. Okay. So this is about the point where it's fighting the fish mouth. I'm about at the point where all I'm really doing is just making a mess. So I'm going to take one more heat on the peen, and then we're going to work on the rest of the stuff. This one's a little overexposed. Great. Thank you. Whew. Goodness gracious, I'm out of breath. Okie dokie. Ryan McColeman asked how much he has to send me to get some private notes on how to improve his work. He's too broke for classes. FYI, you're my hero / inspiration. I appreciate that. I definitely don't feel hero-worthy for hitting on pieces of steel and having a funny voice. But send me a DM on Instagram, Ryan, and I'll try and have a look. But now we're going to flood everything. I can only do so much of that. But I'll try to have a look at your work, Ryan. I'll give you any feedback I can. I really appreciate you supporting us. Christian is looking forward to getting back to forging. Good. Thank you for your service, Christian. I appreciate that. It's been a while since you forged. How is hot glue holding this anvil down? The Band-Aid? Okay. I just don't believe it. Hot glue and a Band-Aid is all that's holding down this anvil. You know, obviously we're not putting huge sidewards forces on it, but, you know, still, there's a lot of vibration and shock going into those feet. And miraculously, the anvil is staying put. Okay, time to clean it up a little bit. See if we can put some makeup on this thing. Jolly good. Looks like a hammer. Okay, next step. Let's work on the front side a little bit. On the face, the flat face. I want to work on the diagonals and just kind of crisp them up. Then, we're going to flatten across the sides with a drift. And that should be good. Wow, it is warm and sweaty. And I am tired. You know, I had the idea, in case you haven't known, I've been getting into cycling a little bit as a hobby, which has been a whole lot of fun. As a kid, I used to cycle, you know, cycle everywhere. When I was really young, before I could drive in England, and I was still trying to run my business and start that, I remember cycling to go and get steel from my local steel supplier with a roll of duct tape in my bag, which is just hilarious to think of. But I was cycling all the time anyway. Kind of been getting into cycling a little bit as a hobby. It's really, it's suited me and has been a really fun pastime. Good way to do some exercise for me and kind of get that endorphin rush of doing exercise, you know, and that's been really nice. But anyway, I was thinking to myself before I did this stream, when you go for a cycle ride, you kind of have to make sure you keep your energy intake proportionate to or you want to get as much energy going in while you're exercising as possible so you don't bonk, like get really tired and like, you know, cramp up and what have you. And I thought, why didn't I do the same thing if I'm going to be swinging a hammer? So I'm doing a ridiculous thing, which I'm sure seems very ridiculous if you are a blacksmith of old or a blacksmith of today. But I'm going to have a glucose gel. I'm going to have a glucose gel in the middle of my forging session, just like a runner or a cyclist. I have to say they're actually quite delicious. Fueling for endurance blacksmithing. What have I become? Honestly, it's just tasty. It's like candy. Okie doke. Put this in the trash and get back to work. What sort of blacksmith thinks he needs to have an energy shot mid-forging session? How I have fallen, folks. How I have fallen. Oh, I need a glove. How I have fallen, how I've fallen. This has been interesting development. When I was a even more whipper, when I was even more whipper and even more snapper, even younger, I really used to like not wearing gloves wherever I could. Part of getting a little older has been wearing gloves a little more. Or part of getting softer has been wearing gloves a little bit more. And I think that's also part of why I'm getting burnt less. It's just purely because I generally wear gloves a whole lot more when I'm working. As we get close to final dimension, I'm going to take a little more care with the brush, clean things up. You see, I keep pulling up my sleeve and then it keeps falling down. Da 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 da. Okay. And we'll take another heat, let it get a little toastier for us. Ah, it's hot. It's a hot fire, amazingly. Okay, I want to pull up these sleeves for good. Get up there. There. It's a good look, right? You think it's going to fall down? Place your bets. Is the sleeve going to stay up or is it going to fall down? Pardon me? That's okay.
Torbjorn Aman says hello. Hello, Torbjorn. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing well, Torbjorn. Renville, thank you so much. He's been subscribed since 80,000 subscribers. Thank you for your kind wishes from Norway. I appreciate that. Thank you, Rob. Pickles, Lord of the Brine, says that, firstly, thank you, Pickles. Suggests making a hammer all the way from ore. Seems a little out of my wheelhouse is the trouble. I'd really like to do some ore stuff in the future. And I know there are plenty of people that do it successfully. We tried doing something similar with wagon tires in the past, but doing it from ore is a big step. Maybe at some point in the future I'll be lucky enough to be able to give that a go. Make something from ore that I've processed myself. That would be very fun. Okie dokie. Oh, that's a toasty bit of steel. Kind of tricky. It's a very wide surface to try and hit very flat on, and you see I just made a miss-hit because I didn't hold it very well. I'm trying to just gingerly get a slight taper in the face. Then back on the diagonals, give it a little cleanup. Okie dokie. I'm struggling to hold it in the right way. Not got enough practice as of late. So much of this stuff is just muscle memory, and you lose it and it takes some while to regain. Okie dokie. Time to go back in the eye now, folks. Wowza! That forge is spitting out some heat. I'm gonna go and dial that down a little bit. Pardon me? You can see the flames coming on the side? Yes. That is what is making me sweat, folks. Turning me into a stinky boy. Righty-ho. I'm gonna close off the air a little bit. The flames should get even longer. Wowza. Now I'll close off the fuel. There we go. Hopefully finish this thing off at slightly lower temperatures. Should be a little more manageable. I'm definitely not, dehydrated, most likely. Okie dokie. Goodness gracious me. I'm fine, I'm just exhausted, you know. I've become weak. This is really tiring. And I am out of shape. Thank you very much, Jeremy. I really appreciate you watching and supporting us. Thank you, T. Steven. Appreciate the words of support. Woo! Thank you very much, Nick Bustle. I appreciate that comment there. Okie doke, folks. I'm gonna need a drift. And I need to concentrate on what my next steps are, because I've not planned enough here. I don't like the idea of using this piece of steel. It's got this sharp edge on it, which is going to dent our forging. So I'm just coming back over here to try and find an alternative. This could be an idea, interestingly enough. Oh. No. What's that? Thank you very much for the $10, with the restriction of only spending it on treats for Yogo. We will spend those $10 on treats for Yogos. We will spend far more than $10 on treats for Yogos. Mr. Steele says, oh yeah. That's right, we spoil that dog. Thank you. We will spend those $10 on treats for her, and she will be thrilled. Thank you very much. Alrighty. Let us do it. I say. Is that gonna work? That's terrible. That's not gonna work. Oi, oi. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna have to do it in a really annoying way because it's gonna get stuff on me. And it's hot, and it burns! This is just a very inconvenient way of driving a drift for sustained periods of time. But it will have to do. So because of the tapers, and because I haven't planned enough to have better tooling ready, I can't really go driving it on those pieces I laid out. You know what sucks when you're doing this? You do this, and then it comes off the drift and it hits you. I've had that happen. And it's as terrifying as you imagine. You imagine a yellow hot hammer billet flying through the air in your direction. It's the worst thing ever. And then it lands on it. Oh, it's just no fun. Jolly good. We will let go of that. Back in the fire, other way up. I'm going to try and make sure I don't mix things up here. This is where I want for the best finish possible, I want the steel to not get quite so hot as we are in our last few heats. So I'm going to come over here and get the forge to put out even more flame. You know, it's very difficult to know when you're reiterating yourself needlessly and when it's helpful, but for those of you that don't know, you see this flame coming out of the forge that's called a dragon's breath, because it's a dragon, and it's the beast of a dragon that's breathing out of the forge. Clearly too dehydrated for jokes. Anyway, the further that goes out, generally the more neutral your flame is, the more fuel rich it is. The less it goes out, generally the more oxidizing your flame is. By having that flame come out further, have a more neutral, fuel-rich fire, which means that we're going to have less oxidation on the workpiece, but it's also going to get it to a slightly lower temperature, all while not oxidizing it, which is good for final finishes. Is the audio sounding okay, or are there still issues? Okay, perfect. Like a ruffle? Okay. Just this? So maybe it's a connection issue. Okay. Now all of that looks like it's good. Is that it? So maybe when you hit buttons, it's moving it slightly and it's making a ruffling. Test switching. No? Interesting. She's hitting the table to see if that makes any sort of weird noises with the mic. All good? Okie dokie. Thank you very much, Spleen Begone. Hello, Glodiskal. Thank you for the 2,000 krona, Norwegian krona. Is that the currency? Oh, Matt just texted me. he said he hasn't seen any audio issues on his end. So he says it's fine from where he's listening. Thank you very much, Glottiskull. Will I ever do a video working with coal or coke in the future? I would love to. I think it would be really fun for us to build a coke forge and show you that process, forge with coke, and share that with our viewers. I really want to do that. We have a friend of ours that sells coal in the area, so I feel like we can get some good coal, and we'd be able to make that happen. I'd love to make that happen. If you folks want to see us do a coke or coal forging video and make a forge, let us know. I'd love to see if that's interesting for you folks. Achille Yoserand says, here's some retribution for 3 years of great entertainment. Thank you very much, I appreciate that. How come I speak perfect French? C'est un secret. Okie dokie. Chris Holloway. I remember that name, and your comment helped spark that memory, Mr. Holloway. Over 3 years ago, he donated $200 trying to sneak a hammer while we were forging another crossbeam hammer and celebrating 50,000 subscribers. Here we are, 3 years, 2 million subscribers later, and all I can say is what you've accomplished is amazing. Thank you so much, Chris. I appreciate it. That's very funny. Oh, that's very funny. Okie dokie. So, I'm awfully sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Like a buzz? Okay. Yeah, I managed to bump down the decibels, perhaps. Maybe go on to a different frequency. We can mess around with it later. Okie-dokie. Thank goodness I've got these heavy 12-ounce cotton work pants on, so it doesn't really matter for me to throw sparks at myself. Okey-doke. Why did I pull my sleeve up, for goodness sake? Don't come off and hit me in the neck, please. Okie doke. Let's brush it. You know, the scale on this thing is just a little bit crusty, and it's a little thicker than I'd like. I'd love for that to be the last heat, because if I was happy with the scale on it, you know, I could polish it up and tweak it with the hammer and we'd be fine, but I'm going to take a welder's chipping hammer, which I should have somewhere. I'm just going to give it a little tippy tap, break some of that heavy stuff off of there. When you break scale, it's just quadruply important to have eye protection on. Because it likes to break off in very unpredictable directions. You know, hit the heavy stuff with a brush, and then with the chipping hammer. Just like chipping the slag off an arc weld, except a little more gentle. The downside to doing this is, you know, obviously you're going to, if you go beneath the depth of the scale, you're going to be putting marks in your workpiece. Da 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 dum 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 da. Tippity tappity tip. I'm sorry, this is not great content, is it? It's just boring. Ow! Ah! Got burnt. It's just me tapping something with a little chipping hammer. Oh, goodness. Okay. Okie doke. Almost there. And in my head, I've been formulating an idea. I'm not going to roll this sleeve up. What? Is it the sound of the forge? You feel confident? But then you hear sound of the forge. Yep, nothing we can do about the sound of the forge. Thank you very much. Because I think, yeah, these mics, they do this like, they bump everything down when it's really loud and then pull it back up. And so I guess when I'm quiet, the noise goes shh. Gotcha. Okay, so as soon as I start speaking, my voice comes up and it brings the forge with it. Yeah. Thank you very much, David. Very, very cool. I really appreciate that. Very pleased that you enjoy watching me learn new skills. That makes me happy. Ah, of course. You are all in the secret club, in the special club, the sneak peeks, behind the scenes, cool people gang. Got a question for you all. As I said earlier, I've been getting into cycling a little bit, and that's been super fun. And I have this cyclocross bike, which is a ton of fun. That's very enjoyable. But obviously, we're in Montana, tons of mountains, tons of cool trails to do, and I want to do a little bit of mountain biking. And I have an idea, which is to build my own mountain bike. Not just like buy a frame and then put the little components together, but weld my own mountain bike frame, which is going to require that I get way better at TIG welding, which I'm willing to do to make this work and not have it break in half on me. But it also, the trick is it's only worth doing if people are interested in watching that. Would you be interested in watching me build my own steel-framed mountain bike? Because if you guys are interested, and there's enough of you guys who are interested, I would love to hear that. It'd be a ton of fun. Everybody says yes. Everybody wants to see me. Okay, that makes me very happy. Okie dokie. Wow. Look at that. That's incredible. Oh my goodness, just do it. Oh boy, yes, yes, good luck. Yes, forge a bike. Oh, I love it. Yes, send it. Yes, that would be really cool. Fat wheel bike. Okie dokie. Guys, that makes me feel good. If anybody wants to say no now. But holy mackerel, there's a whole lot of you saying yes. I'm having a good scroll. Oh, there are some no's. Roger says no. I'm sorry, Roger. Oh. Mr. Calvo says yes. Sebastian says no. I'm sorry, Sebastian. Oh my goodness. Yes, yes. Holy. Oh, maybe somebody made a comment about mic interference from phone/GSM, airplane mode plus 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi could make it go away. Interesting comment. We'll do some more looking on that. No, but 5 gigahertz, we can put 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi on. We can do that. Yeah. Oh my goodness, so many yeses. You guys rock. That makes me so happy. Guys, you rock. I understand that there's some of you guys that wouldn't want to see me do it, but I'm thrilled with the small little, albeit selected bias. There is a selection bias with this, but I'm very pleased that there is at least a very, very good number of you that would be interested in watching. That makes me happy because I think that would be one awesome challenge to make my own bike. And I have entered some races. Not to win, but, for the objective of training towards something and, keeping myself a little extra dedicated to cycle and train, I entered some races. Entered a gravel race and some mountain bike races, which hopefully won't be cancelled because of the wink wink, the thing we won't talk about, because we're about having a positive and good time. And we're here to provide a little escape from troubling times. Anyway, entered some bike races, and I just think it'd be the coolest thing to show up to a bike race with a bike that I made. I think that would rock. I think that would rock so much. I am by no means going to be winning any bike races. But to cycle on a bike I made would just make me very happy. So I think I'm going to have to go ahead and order some steel pipe and start practicing my welding skills so we can make this happen. Thank you guys, I appreciate the support immensely. Okay, cleaning this up with some lighter blows. You know what? I think we've just gone and made a hammer, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure it all looks pretty true. Let's put a touch mark in it. And here's how we're going to give this thing away. If you want to win this thing, get ready to make an Instagram this week with a leaf that you made. I want the leaf that you made to be made not with a power hammer, but, with a hand hammer. You can obviously use punches and things like that. But I want to see what leaves you guys can come up with. And we'll pick somebody who forges a very cool leaf. We'll pick you to give the hammer to. This hammer will be completely finished up, heat treated, hardened, ground finished, handled. We'll be sure to send you some stickers too when we get it your way. Let's try this technique, getting the brush a little wet. We'll send some stickers with it, but you will have yourself this hammer finished very soon, in time for the next live show. So stay tuned. The way you enter is using the hashtag Alec Steele Live. Again, let's just keep that hashtag going. Alec Steele Live is the hashtag, but in your post with the leaf that you forged, you must include @Alec Steele and @Alec Steele Co. so that, so we get a little extra marketing bonus, if you know what I'm saying, from your post. Wow, that just kind of spoils the whole fun of it all, doesn't it, Alec? Salesman Alec, back again. What next? He's going to offer a promo code for this episode? Goodness gracious me. Salesman Alec always has got to interject. I actually don't have a promo code for this episode. Yes? You want me to turn off the forge? Yep. I'm going to give this one more mark. If you want to win this hammer, make a leaf with a hand hammer and hand tools and post it. Alec Steele Live is the hashtag. @Alec Steele, @Alec Steele Co. are the tags. And obviously we always love reading your captions. So funny captions, good captions are always a good thing to do. I really appreciate that we've been able to have this fun today. This has been a blast. Oh, you know what I need to do? Do it in a different order. Turn the gas off first, not the blower. That was the noise. Sounds better now? All good? Thank you guys so much. I'm going to finish off with some of your messages. See what you guys have to say. Goodness gracious. Thank you very much, Brandon Drewcock. Appreciate it. Thank you, Trevor. Thank you for the words of support. You guys just rock so much. Goodness gracious, this means a lot to have this incredible group of you guys watching. It makes me very happy. Thank you so much. Thank you, Philip Dutrois. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Tim. Tim, yes, I'm going to help you out with the tools to make tools. I've got your email in my inbox ready for me to sort out. Stay tuned. Jane says you need to forge a bike, then maybe make one that's more suitable for everyday use. I might be able to forge some components for the bike. So like, you know, that there is that possibility, but I do also want to keep it light. Which is going to be a difficult thing to manage. But you know, it would be cool if we could forge some components. Awesome. Drago Boy suggests doing some work with Colin Furs. In the last video I ever made in the UK, he was in it, so be sure to check that out. That was a great time. Colin is an awesome guy, just an awesome guy. He reached 10 million subscribers, so congratulations are owed to him. Derek Pierce says the frame should be aluminium or it'll be too heavy. The front fork should be stainless steel. Thank you for the advice. Thank you, David Schrader, who asks, Alec, and David Schrader is an awesome customer of ours who we're very grateful for. So thank you, David, for being such a lovely customer. We really appreciate that. What happened to all those hammer drifts that we were making, you ask? Well, coronavirus happened. There's a pile of them being finished up in the grinding room right now, but they're not being finished right now. They were being finished at the beginning of lockdown. So stay tuned, because they'll get finished soon. It's just that, you know, the coronavirus thing happens. Hammer drifts, get ready. If you want a hammer drift similar to the one that I was using, we're going to be having some of those for sale out of 4140 steel. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. Thank you all so much. This hammer, again, hashtag Alec Steele Live. Make yourself a leaf. Leave a funny caption. Have a good time. At Alec Steele, at Alec Steele Co. All those fun things. Thank you for joining us. I cannot wait to see you on the next live stream. You can find out when that's going to be by following me on Instagram and staying up to date with my stories. It very well might be this Saturday, this Sunday, at the same time, 1 p.m. Mountain Time. So whatever time you started watching this, we might well do it at the same time, but stay tuned on Instagram. We might not. We might. I'll let you know on Instagram. It's been a pleasure. I'm very grateful for your time. Stay safe, stay healthy. A big thank you is owed to those of you guys that are watching that are taking this as the opportunity to have some downtime because you're on the front lines saving people's lives. I appreciate you and I appreciate your sacrifice, and I want to make sure that I can at least say that so you can feel some of that goodness, because I appreciate what all the medical personnel in the world are doing to keep people safe and healthy and take care of people. Thank you. Thank you guys all so much for watching. See you all very soon. Bye-bye. I'm going to publish.